I really admire this guy for a number of reasons, but one of them is I believe him to be one of the best sports writers ever because he can write about a lot of different things and just sort of tuck it into sports. And he does a podcast with Mike Schur, our friend, that is exceptional. It's just them screwing around. And he keeps wasting all of his talents writing about baseball. He cannot stop. Like, the man can write about anything. He really can write about anything.
Write about something that people care about, Joe. Let's go.
Well, he ties it to America, and he makes it, obviously, like all the best things in art, it has macro stuff in it. So he can make everything about larger things, but he can also tie it all back to baseball, and it's disgusting. It's an illness. He keeps wasting his time on baseball books. You've got another one out now. What is the latest one that you're doing?
Yeah. I was so looking forward to the disgust on your face when you saw that we were going to be talking about baseball today. And then nothing makes me happier. The new book is Why We Love Baseball. It's coming out Tuesday, and I know that you are just going to be so happy, Dan, to read about why we love baseball.
Why do we love baseball?
Oh, I wrote a whole book. It's a whole book about this. I actually, all right.
One?
So
That's not just one. You wrote several. This is now several books you've written on the subject of why you love baseball so much.
Maybe the better question is, do we love baseball?
yeah, well, I think that question gets asked all the time. This is a whole other thing. We're going with a whole other thing. You know what's funny is I'm actually writing a book for next year about football and along the same lines of football. And I got to tell you, completely different, just completely different to be writing about football. And suddenly, you know, when you talk to people, they're like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. I understand why you're writing Why We Love Football. That makes sense. Baseball, not as much.
Joe, what the hell's wrong with the Angels? How have they managed to botch two once-in-a-lifetime talents?
Oh, they're just, I mean, they are the best comedy team going in sports, I think, right now. I mean, not only did they botch Mike Trout, not only did they botch Shohei, but then they kind of went for it this year when everybody was sort of like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
For a month.
And they promptly lost like 10 in a row. And they're like, all right, forget that. We're not only are we not going for it anymore, we're literally cutting every single player on our team. So they're just waiving everybody. They're a comedy act for sure.
I don't think that a lot of people around our show, Joe, know what I'm about to say. Maybe they do. But
Okay.
you have watched baseball all of your life. You really know baseball in a way that's totally unreasonable. When I watch baseball today, I simply find the skill level I'm seeing to be totally unfathomable. That the people playing baseball today are so much better than anything I've ever seen from the sport in a way that's just granularly spectacular.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah. No, it is totally different. It's a totally different level. It's funny. I was watching an old, there was a highlight, and it was a Vern Rule. I don't know if you remember Vern Rule was a pitcher in the 80s. Vern Rule had to be throwing, I'm not exaggerating, 75 miles an hour. Maybe 75 miles an hour.
It's a great name, and it is, and it's just total slop.
It was him and Bob Knepper.
He was throwing croutons up there. He was just,
He
it was terrible.
And he was calling them fastballs. Those weren't knucklers or anything. He's like, just, all right, that's it. Just throw the ball over the plate and hope for the best. And man, now everybody throws 100, and these hitters are just incredible, and the speed on the game is just so amazing. So I was told to do this, and Mike Schur and I got together because I knew how this was going to be taken. That I wrote a book called Why We Love Baseball. So Mike and I came up with a list of top five, I guess. 5 reasons, 5 moments that even you guys would love in baseball. Okay. So 5 baseball moments even you guys would love. All right. And this is and Mike helped me with the list.
But you understand you're talking to a room here, okay? Amin does not know the rules of baseball. Billy loves baseball, but only one team, and he has irrational hatred toward the Angels just today. Mike Ryan has given up baseball.
And I need 13 down. Red's great Roush starts with an E, 3 letters.
Roush starts with an E, 3 letters. baseball.
Red's great. No? Oh, I'll go back to doing the cross.
You don't know what she's talking about, Posnanski? You know every player who's ever played baseball.
I'm trying to picture it in my mind.
John
I'm so
J-O-N?
focused on this list.
The across might be wrong.
Well, she started with an E. You can't start it with an E. It's not John doesn't start with
Well, he's
an E.
also not great.
I think it's EDD, actually, is what I think it is. But I could be wrong about that. This is just literally off the top of my head.
You've got
All right,
tough.
Brady,
But what you're saying is even our room. Stugotz claims to be a Mets fan. We showed him a picture of Francisco Lindor. He had no idea who it was.
Yeah.
This is what you're dealing with. You're saying everyone here is going to know what you're talking about.
Everybody here is not only going to know what I'm talking about, we're going to love these moments because Mike and I came up with this. And Mike knows. Mike told me coming in exactly what we were dealing with. So I think we've got 5 moments that we can do it. Okay, so here we go. And by the way, we'll start out OLI, the ball conking off the head of Jose Canseco and bouncing over the fence.
What?
Did not make.
No,
It's his list.
No, but that's the greatest play in the history of the sport.
That's what Mike said you were going to say, and he said that we're going to have 5 moments that top.
No
that.
way.
That is why it is outside looking in.
It's why I loved baseball.
Number 5.
Wait a minute. Billy, why are you laughing back there?
Well, nothing. Don't worry about it. It's rude. I don't want to be rude to the guests.
I'm with you, Joe. I'm a baseball purist, so I'm with
I knew that. I knew you were a baseball
Why
purist.
are you laughing at the guest? Please tell me
Well,
why.
because Joe just keeps telling us Mike said that you should do this. Mike told me to say that. Why aren't we just talking to Mike? You know.
Well, that is a good question. Why are you guys not talking to Mike? I just
because
assumed
Joe
Mike would
is
come
awesome.
on here.
Thank you.
He's on strike.
He is on strike. That's the only problem.
Yeah, quit quoting Mike Schur and do your own
No,
material.
this is all Mike. I'm not taking the blame for any of this.
So you're saying he's actively writing during a strike. Interesting.
Did he write your book too?
It is. He did write my book. He wrote a chapter in my book. Thank you for bringing that up. This is going to just add to sales right here.
He appears on 3 pages of your 400-page book. Why?
No, he is not on 3 pages. He wrote a whole 5,000 word chapter in this book, which I could not stop him from doing, by the way. I didn't actually ask him to do that. He just sent it to me and said, you better put this in. So he wrote a whole Red Sox chapter in this book, which, of course he did.
Tell him to write his own book.
Number 5, he has. It was a bestseller. Number 5, on all of philosophers.
Tell him to write my book
time,
then. He is.
He is.
Number 5 is the story I start the book off with. In 1962, Gaylord Perry was a rookie pitcher. He was taking batting practice. The guys were watching him. One of the guys said to the manager, "Hey, this guy's got some power." Manager goes, "Oh, this guy has no power. This guy's he'll hit a home run when we get a man on the moon." Okay. 7 years later, July 20th, 1969, man lands on the moon. 13 minutes later, Gaylord Perry hits his first home run.
Not remotely close to as great as the ball bouncing off of Jose Canseco's
No, that is objectively so. Jessica asked me during that segment, "Is Stugotz okay to drive home?" She believes
I'm hopped up, man.
She believes that he is drugged up and we shouldn't send him home. He didn't just realize while asking Mike Schur to write his book that Mike Schur is already writing his book. Number 4.
The Dan Le Batard Show sends Billy Gill to the Marlins' first game in 2018.
Yes. Yes.
And a home run hit on the very first pitch off of Jose Urena.
That was a great day.
Yeah, it was.
Great moment, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
great moment.
But not better
Great
than
moment.
a ball bouncing off of Jose Canseco's head for a home run. Number 3.
1954, Stan Musial hits 5 home runs in a doubleheader, the only guy to have ever done it. There's a kid in the crowd that day, 8 years old, big Musial fan, named Nate Colbert. 18 years later, Nate Colbert becomes the second guy in baseball history to hit 5 home runs in a doubleheader.
Wow. Stan the man.
Right?
Yeah.
Jessica,
Pretty good.
did you just spit out drink? What just happened, Jessica?
The noise Amin just made was like the exact noise you make when you're like, "Oh, I guess that's interesting," but I didn't think about that.
No, I mean, in many ways, Nate Colbert was there for both times that happened in history. The only person probably in the world.
Right, but she is saying
Stan
that
wasn't there for
she's
his.
saying
Yeah,
the
right.
sound that you made.
Nate's parents may have been.
The sound you made.
Oh,
Are you
good
saying
point.
it was feigned interest? Or?
No, it was actual interest.
I mean, it's like when I call my dad and tell him about my day, and he's definitely not listening and just is like, oh.
It's on the golf
That's
course.
feigned interest. Number 2. None of these are still.
don't listen
None
to
of
them.
these are still better than
Big
the
fan of the
the
podcast.
universally number 1. Again. Just to explain this to you, Joe, because you don't seem to understand it, even though you write several baseball books.
I'm learning.
Jose Canseco, a total clown show with a giant steroid skull, is running
Yes.
toward the outfield fence, but he plays
right.
defense so poorly with a frying pan where his gloves should be that he gets hit on the skull by a baseball that's been hit 350 feet in the air and
That's
hits
right.
it hits his head as he arrives at the warning track and careens into the stands for even further for a home run. None of these are better than that.
Okay, number 2. Number 2 is Christmas.
Brilliant.
All right, finally, we got one.
Excellent.
Finally.
Good one, Joe.
Finally one.
High heat
All
right
right.
there.
All right. I'm giving you number 1. Number 1 is, I think, the most incredible thing that's ever happened in baseball. All right. Number 1, there was a Japanese pitcher named Yutaka Inatsu. Okay. And in 1968, he was the best pitcher in Japanese baseball. In 1968, he struck out 400 batters. He broke the record for most strikeouts that is never going to be broken. Okay. That year, 1968, he was going to break the record. He announced to everybody in Japan that he was going to break the record by striking out Sadaharu Oh, the greatest player in Japanese. Said, without question, I'm breaking the record against Oh. So he comes to the game. He's about to break the record. He strikes out Sadaharu Oh, goes to his dugout, all excited. He'd broken the record. Teammates tell him he'd only tied the record by striking out Oh. So what he does is he goes back to the mound and lets the next 8 guys hit the ball so that he could strike out Oh to break the record.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Right? Yes? No?
great.
That's great. I love the pettiness
Selfish,
of that.
but yeah.
Yeah, extremely selfish. Stugotz, you should love it then. But I'm gonna stick up for Joe, and I'm gonna say the guy who they said he'd hit a home run when a man walks on the moon. Like, that's the coolest one,
That's
man.
incredible.
13 minutes later? I thought it was gonna be like later that week or something. 13 minutes later.
Joe, the name of the book, for the people who do not know, Why We Love Baseball, A History in 50 Moments. And again, I will tell you, the podcast is a lot of fun with Mike Schur and Joe Posnanski. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's a podcast. You called it a podcast.
It's a fun.
Well, I mean, it is a podcast.
Podcast.
It's called the
His
podcast.
name-
To play on his name.
Pause.
Oh,
It's called
now
that,
I get it.
But it is
Podcast.
in sense
I love you.
podcast.
Shameful admission. I didn't know Michael Myers was Shrek. I don't know who I thought Shrek was, but I heard him say that in the last segment, and I was like, maybe I misheard it. As a child Austin Powers enthusiast, I thought I knew all the things Mike Myers was in. Didn't know he was Shrek. I don't know who I thought Shrek was.
It's literally Fat Bastard's voice. If you've watched,
You're absolutely
it's
right.
just the same voice.
This is just ignorance by me.
It was originally Chris Farley.
Yeah.
I'm on Shrek TikTok, so I get all like the fun facts.
The youth love Shrek. They like putting Shrek in latex and having him grind on things in the sky on TikTok. They like having Shrek hump them from behind in videos while they sing country music songs. The youth is very obsessed with Shrek. I didn't know it was Mike Myers. I thought love was only true in fairy tales.
Jessica, guess what else?
What?
Oppenheimer is not a superhero. Breaking news.
What happened to Farley?
Best musical performance, Suey. Let's hear it.
And now the Suey nominees for Best Musical Performance. Yeti Blanc, Greg Cody Night.
G-R-E-G-C-O-T-E, night. G-R-E-G-C-O-T-E, night. Gonna watch some baseball at the Miracle Game on Greg Cody Night. Greg Cody Night. Reporter with the oatmeal mispronouncing his name for Greg Cody Night. Greg Cody Night. Had to read the lyrics for a famous song. Yeltsin Yeah, the baseball he's gonna throw across the plate, you never know. Greg Cody Knight, Greg Cody Knight. G-R-E-G-C-O-T-E, Knight.
Amin Al Hassan sings Le Marseillaise.
Is that their national anthem for real?
Yeah, that's their anthem.
Really? Yeah, La Marseillaise.
And then, like when it gets into the second part, I wish we could play it.
Oh no, it's an incredible anthem. One time I was in front of the Eiffel Tower during Bastille Day, and they played it. It was just goosebumps.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Andrew Streeter, Crypto Bro.
A coward, imposter, shameless double crosser. He's a con man, a cheater, Ponzi postalita, a textbook scam artist. Mayor Francis Suarez loves his crypto. Heaven help us, please. Miami's run by a crypto bro. Corrupt and vile, although he gets away with it all. Everybody knows Moronic did crypto bros. But if you wanna know who is the worst of them all, that's my crypto bro. A coward, imposter, shameless double crosser. He's a con man, a cheater, Ponzi postalita.
Greg Cody and Billy Gill. And You Know It remix.
And you know it. And you know it. And you know it. And you know it. You know it. And you know it. And you know it. You know it. And you know it. And you know it. You know it.
I don't.
You know it.
Jessica Smetana sings Get Low as Frank Sinatra.
To the window, to
we all heard
the
that, right?
walls, till the sweat drops down my balls.
So what I'm saying here,
all these females crawl, singing, oh, skeet, skeet, goddamn.
Old Blue Eyes.
Greg Cody sings Shave and a Haircut. Bump, chicka, bump, 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 bump. It's just like a...
I believe it's called shaving a haircut.
Yes, exactly. Bump, chicka, bump, 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 bump.
Splash. So you have, just to be clear, you have porn bouncing and morphing into shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
2 bits, shave and a haircut, 2 bits. My dad used to always sing that. Jeremy Taché, How Jimmy Reminds.
This is how Jimmy reminds the Heat to play defense. This is how Jimmy reminds the Heat to play defense. Teammates can't shoot from 3. Now they're gonna see a different Jimmy. Now he's just playing Nickelback in the locker room, and now they'll play D and shoot 3s as they chase the Nets for the 6th seed. These 5 words in his head scream, are we winning games yet? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh no.
Jessica Smetana sings Jean Valjean.
2, 4, 6, 0, 1.
Joe Buck, Stugotz, and Mike Ryan sing Fruit Salad.
Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. Fruit salad. Yummy, yummy.
Jessica Smetana sings Misbehavin' from Righteous Gemstones.
Samson said don't, but I did it anyway, misbehaving.
Andrew Streeter, Easy Flutter.
We got Bookwell infrastructure. Right for our destruction.
Good.
Never forget it. Ooh, can't defend it.
Bill Collins.
But we're not changing cause we're greedy. We're greedy. Get out quick cause the shoreline is receding. Men learn to swim. Oh, by a boat. She's an easy flutter. We've known about this now for decades.
Mike Ryan remixes Dan, screwing up Akbar Bajabiamila's name.
Akbar Bahia Mia. Bahia Mia. Akbar Bahia Mia. 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 Mia.
Taylor Vippolis, carry us, Jalen Brunson.
It's a 3. The crowd goes into a delusion. Winning in the playoffs, not an illusion. It's a heat check, he's on fire. But let it fly. Saw the contract, they said he was overpaid, man. Said that he was overrated and that we had no plan. They were wrong and I am beaming. Hear the Mecca say, carry us, Jalen Brunson. Comes up clutch, that's why we won. New York knows you are the best. Not the joke no more.
Amin Al-Hassan and Tom Haberstroh bringing defense back on Basketball Illuminati.
We're bringing defense back. Yeah.
Bringing defense back. Letting them hack.
These other scorers don't know how to act. Yeah.
Dirty man.
Justin Timberlake.
Taylor Vippolis and Jessica Smetana. Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy.
Jokic gives the Heat quite a scare. Down 3-1, need a prayer. Jimmy, 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 you're losing to Denver. Culture will not help you put the Nuggets away. Jimmy, 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 you're losing to Denver. Struz cannot shoot and Hero won't save the day. Jimmy, 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 you're losing to Denver. Culture will not help you put the Nuggets away. Jimmy, 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 you're losing to Denver. Struz cannot shoot and Hero won't save the day.
Yeti Blanc, we're all gonna die.
Die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. The sky seems to be falling, and we're all wondering why. Let's turn on the news and find out how we're gonna die. There ain't no sense in stalling, no reason not to cry. Let's turn on the news and find out how we're gonna die. Die. We're all gonna die.
Greg Cody and the crew sing the Butterfinger song.
Butterfinger, 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 Butterfinger. That's usually as far as I get, because by that time he's like storming out of the room.
Well, he's serving again, right?
Yeah, and then he Yeti Blanc, salute to you, white guy.
Salute to you, white guy.
Listener rage against Twitter, Cody's Lobos.
The entrepreneur, born in 1854, Gregory, Cody's Lobos. The entrepreneur, born in 1954, Gregory, Cody's Lobos. Come on, Gregory, you can do it. Pave the way, put your foot into it. Tell us why, show us how. Look at your Lobos, look at you now. Uncle Dick's Rough Riders, Muppet amateurs can suck it, blink that team, drink their blood. Come on, Greg, get 'em!
Championship energy, look at him. Didn't play a quarterback. He's still a champion.
Cody's Lobos, Cody's Lobos, Cody's Lobos.
Andrew Streeter, Frank O'Harris.
Frank O'Harris, Frank O'Harris, pride and joy of the Emerald Isle. Frank O'Harris.
a yard, he'll take a mile. And if Terry Bradshaw knows what's up, he'll audible once again. Cause you hand it off to O'Harris, and he scores it every time.
Bradshaw trying to get away. And his pass. O'Harris has
Frank O'Harris, he will not embarrass us. Instead he will embarrass Shorty Line. Cause you hand it off to O'Harris, and he scores it every time.
Yeti Blanc, Morning Man.
And you know it, baby, and you know it.
I'm Greg Cody, and back in my day, the sun wasn't the only thing that would rise before 7 a.m.
What?
Hill Schmills, take your medicine back, Jack. I like it au natural. The mornings were once my domain, but as I've gotten older, I've learned that the nighttime is the right time. Baby! And you know it.
That is my favorite category that we've ever done. What just happened there. Everything that just happened there, from how good legitimately good some of the music was to how legitimately awful most of it was. And in the middle of that, Billy says to me, not helpfully, because I am crying from laughter and also just crying in general because we can't make better music after making a musical. But it was uproariously funny. Billy whispers to me in music that is making me weep from both sorrow and joy, moved by the music to laughter, while in a great deal of emotional pain at the moment because of where, like, I can't stop crying about my brother in the middle of all of this. Can't stop doing it whenever I feel deeply. Billy says to me in my ear, so only I can hear, "Do you miss ESPN yet?" Jessica has proclaimed the musical category her favorite, Suey, and she has also proclaimed the laugh category her favorite, Suey. Those are the only two we're doing today. They can't both be your favorite.
Pick one.
But they're both so good. They both make me laugh the most, whereas the other ones, like the Suey for Biggest Mistake, just make me kind of want to crawl into a hole and cry a little bit.
Right.
Not great.
Okay, so the laugh is very quick. It's very
stovetop.
the laugh. That's a pretty good one.
That one did make me laugh.
You could vote at Le Batard Show. The penis under your armpit wasn't bad either. But let's go ahead and play. This is just laughter. It's just machine gun laughter. What do we have?
And now the Suey nominees for Best Laugh. Adnan Verk, Amin El Hassan, Baker Mayfield, Becky Hammond, Beto O'Rourke, Bill Lawrence, Billy Gill, Polygraph Examiner Big Joe Harper, Bryce Young,
I feel that.
Carrot Top.
Yes.
CC Sabathia. Charlotte Wilder.
Wow, you're an activist.
Chris Cody. Chris Whittingham. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dan Le Batard.
Flexibility of the board will get you.
Dan Le Batard again. Dan Patrick. David Sampson.
Deontay Wilder. Dominique Foxworth. Doris Burke. Doug Peterson. Ernie Johnson. The Sod Father, George Toma. Greg Cody. It really is. Greg Cody again. Hank Azaria. Izzy Gutierrez. Jake Paul. Jake Plummer. Jeremy Taché. Jessica Smetana. Jimmy Johnson. Joey Votto. John Skipper. Juju Gotti. Ken Jennings. Kenny Smith. Lewis Black.
Yes, I do.
Michael Wilbon. Stanley Cup protector Mike Bolt. Mike Florio. Mike Golick Sr. Mike Ryan.
But that's okay, Mike.
Mike Ryan again. Mike Schur. Mina Kimes. Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre again. Poppy.
I don't think
I only get no couple of them. I picked one, and that was the winner.
Patricia Heaton. Ricky Williams. Ron McGill. Roy Bellamy. Roy Bellamy again. Russell Crowe. Former HQ trivia host Scott Rogowski. Spencer Hall. Stefan Diggs. Trayvon Diggs. Stugotz. Stugotz again.
It is.
Australian weightlifter Tia Claire Toomey. Tim Kirchen. Tim Tebow. Tony Kaladiud. William Shatner.
Loaded. Roy laughed twice.
Yeah.
Spencer
That was
Hall.
his entire laughter for the entire season, by the way.
Spencer Hall sounded like he was fighting somebody, like it was a chop of some sort.
The one that stands out is CC Sabathia.
Yeah, totally haunting.
Golick Sr. also had a pretty good laugh. And then